Okay, so let's dive into the editing now. The software that I use is Adobe Premiere Pro CC. So let's go ahead and open up a project. End up will pop this box that shows all the previous projects you've been working on, but we are going to start a new project, so click there. And then you're going to give your project a title. I'm going to call it Mike and Marky Wedding. And then to choose where to save your project, click on Browse. And I personally like to save the project file in the same folder as all the footage to keep it organized. And then push Choose. And all the other settings here should be fine by default, so don't touch anything else and just push OK. The first thing you'll see as Premiere Pro opens up are 4 boxes or windows. And we're going to start our project by coming to the bottom left box. And you're going to click on one of these tabs here, the one that says Project. And then right here in the middle it says Import Media to start. So either double click or go up here and File Import. I just double click down here. And then it opens up my Finder and asks me where I'd like to open up files from. I want to open up this entire wedding. So I click Import. After importing, I usually get a box that says File Import Fail, and that's just telling me that it can't import CR2 raw photo files. That's not a big deal because we only need the video files, so just click OK. So if you look over here, you'll see the Mike and Marky Wedding folder has imported correctly. I have all of my footage shot in the subfolders as I organize them. The first thing you'll notice is that I shot this entire wedding at 60 frames per second, or 59.94 to be exact. What we have to do first before anything is we have to convert all these frame rates to 24 frames per second. So I'm going to select all my footage. I'll click up here, scroll all the way down, push Shift, and click the bottom file, and now it has highlighted all the footage I shot. Now I'm going to say right click, modify, interpret footage, and up here it says this is the frame rate you shot it in, and I'm going to say, well, I want you to convert it to 23.976, which is the exact frame rate for 24 frames per second. And then I push OK, and you'll look down over here and you'll see it converted all of those down to 24 frames per second. What that did is it slowed down those 60 frame per second clips to 24 frame per second, stretching them out, creating slow motion. Now it's important to interpret your footage before you start a new sequence, because whatever clips you bring into your sequence first is going to be the same settings of your final video output. So once all of your video clips have been interpreted to the frame rate that you're going to want to export your final video at, then you're going to go ahead and drag them down to this new item button, which will then start a new sequence and bring all of your video clips onto the timeline. Before I start cutting through my footage, I want to make sure everything is scaled to the same size. And I know that I shot this video using 2 different cameras. My 1DC shoots 60 frames at 1080p, and my 5D Mark III shoots 60 frames at 720p. So that means that all the clips that were shot with the Mark III are going to show up smaller in my frame because they were shot in a lower resolution. This is showing you 1080p, and these clips are showing you 720p. So to stretch those 720p clips out to the 1080p frame, you just select all of your 720p shots, right click, scale to frame size, and that will stretch all of the 720p shots out to 1080p so that all of the clips are the same size. So that's my basic process for getting started. Once you have all of the footage imported, interpreted, you've started a new sequence, scaled all your clips to frame size, now it's time to begin the sifting process.